Sigma just released their new 50mm 1.2 with their art lens lineup. And this is awesome because their 35mm 1.2 is honestly one of the best lenses that I've used for the Sony system. And I'm really excited to go over the 35mm 1.2 today because I don't want it to get lost with all the hype around the new 50mm 1.2. And I think it's just a really good time to go over my thoughts of using this lens. Okay, so the Sigma Art lineup is honestly my favorite lens lineup of all time. I just love Sigma more than any lens, but just the art lenses. I haven't tried the contemporary lenses. They look really cool, and I think if you wanted a smaller package, that would be great to use. Hopefully one day I'll be able to grab one for whatever reason, but as of now, I just have all Sigma art lenses for my Sony cameras, which I've used since the A7 came out several years ago. And I just kind of want to go over how the 35mm 1.2 works for me in 2024. I've used this for several months now, and I've taken it to 6 countries, and I hope you enjoy these photos while we hop into it. So first off, the size and weight of this lens is something I want to talk about. The elephant in the room, literally, this thing is massive compared to a lot of other lenses, especially 35mm lenses. This lens is large. Here it is beside the 50mm 1.4, the old Sigma lens, and it's quite a bit larger, and it has an 82mm filter thread, whereas this 50mm has a 77mm filter thread. That goes to show you that this thing is just gigantic, just for the extra stop of light and a few more elements possibly. This is the A7 III that I have in front here. I'm shooting on the A7 IV now, but it's just pretty big, and it feels great in the hand. I mean, it feels like, I am a professional, I get it, but this makes you feel like when you're very confident at a shoot for some reason. In my opinion, this lens is not travel friendly. I did take it to 6 different countries in 60 days, and it got heavy very fast. I found myself switching off to smaller lenses quite a few times, but none of them gave me what the 35mm did, and that was a different type of look that I was getting from the other lenses. And that's really exciting. It is trade-offs, I understand that, but if you're going to shoot portraits and weddings and things like that, and you don't do a lot of traveling, or you have another 35mm that you like, but you want to upgrade to the 1.2, I would definitely recommend this for that type of work. But if you're going to be traveling, I probably wouldn't pick this lens, to be completely honest with you. Next, I want to talk about the tactility and the use of this lens. I am a huge fan of something that is built very well, and the 35mm 1.2 Sigma Art is one of those things. The clicks are so satisfying and nice that you get on the aperture ring that is just so well dampened, and it's very lovely that the lens comes with the switch for the declickable aperture ring. So if you are in a quiet environment such as a ceremony at a wedding and you don't want to interrupt anybody, you can use your silent shutter, and you can also use your aperture ring silently. And this is also great for videographers as well, obviously. And then of course you have the manual focus autofocus switch on this lens, which comes in handy, especially for videographers as well, or if you want to get critical focus on any type of landscape or portraiture that you'll be doing. I am really glad that they put the extra function button on this lens, where I like to have it pressed down for eye autofocus or kind of back button focus, so it just focuses a lot quicker in my opinion that way, and it's a lot easier to use. Although it's almost like a handle whenever you're holding it in your hand, and it kind of feels like shooting a gun in a way, and I'm not sure if that's okay to say, but it kind of does. It feels great, and I love the build quality. Overall, they did a great job of the build of this lens. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. The image quality of this lens is obviously a very important thing that we should discuss. In my opinion, Sigma art lenses are the closest thing that you can get to a Leica Summilux, and they're autofocus. How nice is that? They have great micro contrast, and they also give you that 3D pop that you do get from Leica lenses. And you have this nice little curvature to it, and you do have a little bit of vignetting, but honestly, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. It just looks good. It almost gives you a feeling of a film-esque experience but with a high-end digital camera. And those are things that I really like about lenses. This lens also has some really nice characteristics as far as lens flares go. You got to be very perfect to line it up to get the nice lens flare that I'm talking about. Hopefully I have a few images here that you can see those nice little circles coming in. The lens surprisingly rarely misses. I have a really good friend that also had this lens and he said that he missed quite often. I'm not sure if his firmware wasn't updated or what it was, but I have honestly not missed very much at all with this lens. I would say probably 1 out of 100 photos. Of course, I'm on the A7 IV with the newest firmware update, and this lens performs very well. I'll show you a few autofocus tests very quickly and just kind of talk about how quick it is, in my opinion, for something that's so large. And I mean, it just works pretty well considering that there's so much glass in this giant lens. So if you're looking for something with very sharp image quality and at that 1.2 aperture with these blurry backgrounds that everybody loves so much, then this might be a good lens for you. But I want to hop in and talk about the price really quick. Surprisingly, before this video, I wasn't realizing how much this lens actually cost, although I purchased this lens and I guess I forgot how expensive it was. This lens comes in at $1,500 brand new. Of course, you can get it cheaper on the used market, but the Sony G Master 1.4 costs $200 less than this lens. So is it worth it for the 1.2 and also sporting a Sigma Art, or should you just stick with the 35mm G Master? And honestly, that's a really hard decision to make. The 1.2, it just sounds good, and I think people like really fast lenses, such as myself, because they do come in handy and they do give you a different look. But if you're going traveling or something, I would definitely recommend the 35mm G Master by Sony at the 1.4. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, if you love Sigma, if you love a 1.2 lens, this is a great one. And if you don't mind size, hop right in. But if you want to keep your stuff a little bit more compact, I would definitely go with the Sony G Master 1.4. Although you lose a stop of light, you'll be fine and you'll probably never even know the difference, to be completely honest with you, unless you're just really well versed in the style of a Sigma lens, and I can promise you your client is never gonna know. So those are my thoughts of the Sigma Art 35mm 1.2 in 2024. I really hope you guys enjoyed all of these sample images that took me a very long time to produce, and this video took forever. So thank you so much for tuning in, subscribing, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Until then, peace.